folks. Welcome back for the second episode of the Waybright Family Podcast. My name is Julie Gayhart. I am the producer of your show this evening, and another family friend of the Waybrights. I'm going to pronounce her name right this time, Nicole Sawzishin. Nicole, welcome back to the Waybright Family Podcast, and let's get right to it, y'all. We've got Mama Waybright in her kitchen. So, Marsha, here we are back for episode number 2.
That's right. We're excited to have everybody back this evening. And, yesterday was Groundhog Day, but it's Groundhog Day today here on the farm. And we'll explain a little bit more about that in a minute. Look who's here. This is Josie and Spicy. Now, there's a funny story about Spicy. Y'all want to know how he got his name? All right. So Spicy was out in his pen, and he had gotten out with the chickens, and we'd thrown it was pepper season, and I was throwing some peppers out and around. And so he went over and was eating some of those peppers. Well, Kendall and I were here in the kitchen, and we kept hearing this rabbit letting out these little screams. And I yelled at Kendall, and I was like, oh my gosh, something's getting the rabbit. So we took off running outside, and we stopped because we could see him, and there wasn't anything around him, but he was eating those peppers. And every time he'd eat a pepper, he'd squeal. And so I looked down, and they were cayenne peppers. So that's how Spicy got his name.
Well, we got a new Waybright in the house. So we got Josie, the youngest daughter.
Youngest daughter, yep. She's the chicken tender. She takes care of all the fancy chickens and the rabbits and trains the cats. So she stays pretty busy here. She does a lot of the farm tours, and she gets around. You never know where you're going to see Josie.
And there goes Josie. She's like, I am over it.
She's running. Oh, wait, I hear somebody coming.
Hello.
Hey, Colin.
How are you?
You just get back from work?
Oh, my gosh. So how was work? Well, you'll have to ask him. He can't hear us.
Oh, how was work? He was good, he says. Yep.
Well, Marsha, we can see some stuff you got cooking up there in the kitchen. But before we get to that, I know it's been cold outside. I'm sorry. It's sunny and 70 here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh.
And I know you guys are having the winter blues where you are. So tell us how the weather's been and kind of how you've been dealing with the animals in the cold weather.
It has been really cold here. In fact, it was 23 below in Canaan, and it's a little warmer here down by the river. What was your temperatures, Nicole?
Over in Pocahontas County, we had -17, and that's before wind. That's actual temperature.
It was negative, I think, 15 here. And, there's a lot of extra work that goes into taking care of the animals whenever it's that cold. You have to give them lots of extra bedding. You have to make sure that they have shelter, especially if the wind is blowing. But take care of that water. You have to water them like 3-4 times a day, break that ice. And so, normally you can get away with, if it's not really hot out, watering them once or twice a day, depending on, how hot it is. But boy, whenever it's that cold, it's really hard to keep them hydrated.
Not to mention, I have to get to them all and all that snow we had. I stopped counting at 27 inches. We had a lot of snow, so that adds to it too. I know for you guys, Marsha.
Yeah, we had I think 20 inches, something like that. But shoveling out to the animals, you just have to, a lot of times you just have to keep walking through it because they're not in places where you can plow, and just shoveling everything is just, it's really hard to keep it, cleaned out so you can just walk. So yeah, it wears you out going outside whenever it's that cold and taking care of everything.
And the other day I got a text from you. What was the flooding? Was that everything melting and you were saying the streets were flooding and you guys were having some issues?
Yeah, we had about 2 days of rain, and then all of that snow and ice, the river had iced over. And so whenever the rain came and the snow started to melt, what it does is it forces that ice out. It starts to break it up, and then you have ice jams, and it can take out bridges. This is some ice that's 4 to 6 inches thick or more. And so we were kind of worried about the bridges and things. But for those of you who've been here to Laurel River Club Bed and Breakfast, it was actually all across the entire beach. And Kendall had to go out and move the picnic tables because it was so far up. We were in no danger of actually having any flooding in any of the structures on the farm, but, we still have to run around and make sure that everything's, safe, move the pigs and things like that. So,
well, how's it been for the guests? Because I am sure, were there any issues with guests getting to you? And have you guys still, had plenty of people show up?
Oh, yeah. We've had a household because the best advertisement for this area in the wintertime is snow. So we've had lots of snow. Now, it has been cold. So a lot of the people, whenever they go skiing, they have to come in and go out. But for the first time in probably, I'd say 6 years, we've been able to really have good cross country skiing and snowshoeing here on the farm. And they have really enjoyed it. The ski areas are doing very well too this year. So.
Yeah, I've been seeing some postings. Somebody's been sledding. Is that on the property, or has that been close by to you? Or tubing, I think, maybe.
Well, the tubing is at Canadian Valley State Park, and that's where Colin just came from. He's working out there this winter part-time and helping. But Josie had the runner sled out, and it was doing great. We haven't done the runner sled since I was a little girl because you just, you don't get the snow like we used to. But she had it going, and it was a lot of fun.
And Nicole, I think we've got something new coming up with you. We got a little Nicole segment. So do you want to talk a little bit about that, Nicole?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say, like, that toboggan, too, if y'all ever get out there, get to the Waybrights and have a chance to, get on a toboggan as a family, you will never forget that experience if you get a chance. So we used to do that quite a bit up in New York in the winters where I'm from. But so, yeah, couple things going on around the forest, couple things going on locally there. I know Marsha mentioned the cross country and the snowshoeing, which has been great this year. White grass also is fantastic. Great place to run up. Check it out. Even have a cup of coffee, hot chocolate, and come back down, sit by the fire there. Across forest, yes, it's been cold. Cold is also good on a lot of levels because it's going to hopefully help with some of these insects we've been having some issues with. When it's super warm like this, right? Think about it, y'all. We haven't really had a hard winter in West Virginia in quite a while. So we had the cold temps, and then all of a sudden we had this rain and warm temps, and that makes perfect timing for maple syrup season. So across the forest, we've got some maple syrup days going on, and any of the guests that ever come to Marsha's right now, this is a great time to go out, see actually what happens. And I'll just do a quick rundown. So the maple trees, we have a bunch of different hardwoods in the Monongahela National Forest, but the maple trees have a vascular system very much like our own with like veins. And so the vascular system, when the days get warm, they're going to pump up a sap, right? And so it takes, on average, in our region, 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. So think of it like liquid water, but it's a little bit more to it, going all the way up the tree to try to get to the extremities in that warm weather. So the vascular system pulls up this liquid sap, and then in the evenings, it pulls it back down. It's like a suction system, right? So what we do when we make maple syrup this time of year, we only have about a 6-week window. And so you tap into the vascular system, if you can see my finger, with this little item called a sply. And that intersects that vascular system. We're not hurting the tree. You do it at a very specific depth. And we intersect that liquid. And it's, Marsha, I know you can talk to it, but the drip is hypnotic and meditative when you stand by the bucket and you listen to this tree literally like have a heartbeat. And so what happens is the sap goes into a bucket, or depending if it's a larger operation, these lines, and it goes to a larger, like a vat. We cook it off, and you have to cook it off for several hours. But man, you start to smell that scent of maple in the air. I mean, your guests, people coming in the future, I'm telling you, this is such a special time of year to come. Enjoy the forest as it sort of awakens again with some of those maple trees. And then just on another little side note, the Bond Forest Towns, which Marsha's right located in between a couple different ones there. We had a huge retreat. I'm privileged to be a part of that organization. If anybody wants to check it out, monforesttowns.org.com. Fantastic stuff coming around the corner that will be affecting Marsha and all of us in the forest. So super excited about that. And then many of us know you need hydration for mushrooms. And so part of the West Virginia Mushroom Club, we've got some wonderful speakers coming up around the corner here in March. Just signed this guy. So the tickets aren't on sale yet, but they will be next week. Here's what we've got for you. Britt is coming to us, going to do a wonderful lecture, do a wonderful luncheon, all fungi related, any level of learning is welcome and will have a nugget to take away from his lecture. And that's going to be in Marlington, which is one of the Mon Forest towns. So if you're staying at Marsha's, come on in, stay, take a little road trip for lunch and come on back. That's about what I got for the spotlight for y'all this month.
Now, as you all could tell, well, for me, that was the most explicit explanation of what is going on with a maple tree I've ever heard in my life.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
And I never knew a maple tree when it was rising and going back down, there was a heartbeat. So that makes me, want to come and be in the forest and see what's going on. And what else is going on is everybody can see that Marsha is in her kitchen. So, Marsha, we need to get to the heart of this episode, which is let us know what's up and coming on the farm, and then we're going to see what you got cooking.
All right. So up and coming on the farm, the sheep, the cows, and the goats are all getting ready to have their babies. So this is a very exciting time on the farm. For those who want to see babies, they'll probably all start coming mid-February to the beginning of March. And then that means bottle babies and delivering babies and all kinds of good things. But the most exciting thing of all is that means fresh milk. So we're really, really excited about having some fresh goat milk around. And that's always a lot of fun to show people and, let people see where some of their food comes from. Again, that's what we love to do. We love to get people back to what's going on. And in February is also a really great time to trim trees. Not only is the maple syrup running, but that's a great time to trim grapevines and all the fruit trees and stuff like that. So all that stuff will be coming up, and that'll be happening soon here on the farm. So people can sign up. We'll just keep checking the website. We'll have lots of different things out there. And of course, it's all weather permitting. So it's hard to plan that in advance. It's more weather related. So on a pretty day, we'll go out and do that kind of stuff. We try to give everybody about a week's notice.
So, and I know you've got, I've got some pictures here that you wanted me to show of some upcoming things. So let me go ahead and pull this up. The Hunter Safety Education course.
Yeah, so we have the Hunter Safety Education course for people who need that. We're trying to do one each month for the entire year. And that's just to help get people caught up so that they can get their hunting license. We know a lot of people who need them. And so we're trying to provide this service. It's totally free. We work with the West Virginia Department of Natural Resources. And, we invite people to come to the farm and take their hunter safety education class and just see the farm. And so we really enjoy doing that and helping people get that taken care of. Alongside the hunter safety education, we also have the concealed carry. So we do the hunter safety education in the morning. That'll be on the 8th of February coming up. And then the concealed carry will be starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So 9 o'clock in the morning for hunter safety and then 3 o'clock in the afternoon for concealed carry. Then later on in the month, we have on the 15th, a falconry presentation and a kombucha class. So the Laurel Fork falconer will be teaching, about the birds of prey. That's what he's best at. And then we'll be doing a kombucha class. Not only do we teach you how to make kombucha, but we'll send you home with a SCOBY. So it's a adopt a SCOBY day. So you get to go home and make your own and provide your own kombucha for your family. If you don't know what that is, you need to look it up or come here and learn about it.
And it's delicious.
It is delicious. Yes. It's kind of like you can do a first ferment or a second ferment. And if you do a second ferment, it makes it fizzy just like pop, soda pop. It is so much better for you than a lot of those other drinks. And it's so good. We also have on the 22nd of February, we have a CPR and first aid class. So for those of you who are needing that there's a lot of different people that, have to get that and it's required by their job. So we try to help with that. And, if we have things that we offer and you don't see it, on our website, feel free to call us because we do a lot of private lessons or private classes. So, if you're in a bind and you really need one of those classes, just get in touch with us and we'll try to work with you and help you get that taken care of.
Marsha, you got a ton going on there. I mean, from first aid to renewal, I know a lot of people need certain things. They got to renew their licenses. And I know first aid, is it every 2 or 3 years now that has to be done? And so check out the website, people. It is in the description of this episode. All the links that Marsha and Nicole have been talking about will be in the description of the show. So now we got to get to the part that everybody's been waiting on. What's on that stove, Marsha, and what do you've got going on? You mentioned something about a groundhog, and I'm even afraid to ask.
Well, before we get to the groundhog, I had posted us making some Grandma Luck's potato soup, and I had so many people who sent me a message, and they were like, could you please give us the recipe? That looks so good. So, Julie, if you'll play that video real quick, I'll just talk about it for a little bit. So, Grandma Luck's potato soup, I remember whenever I was young, I would go to Grandma's house, and I'd be like, Grandma, how do you make that? And she would say, oh, you just put the potatoes in the pan, and then, you just put the water across the top of the potatoes. Just fill the water up until it covers the top. And then, you let them boil until they're done. And then you just put a pinch or two of salt in there. And then, just a little bit of milk, make it about a half an inch higher than the water was before. And then, your cornstarch and water, and you just make it as thick as you want. You just salt it as much as you want. And that used to drive me nuts because I was like, how can I possibly learn how to make this if you're not going to, give me a recipe? But whenever I make this soup, I don't use a recipe. And whenever so many people started to ask me, what's the recipe? Then I was like, oh no, I've turned into my grandma. So I actually sat down and you can actually put this recipe up if you'd like. Julie, and people can actually copy it. I think I sent a copy of it to you. Grandma Luck's potato soup, just the basics. Just the basics are 2 pounds of potatoes cubed, put in a pot, covered with enough water just over the top of the potatoes, cook until done. 2 tablespoons of salt, more or less, to taste. 4 cups of milk. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and enough water to make it thin and pourable. Some would call this mountaineer muck. If anybody out there is watching who knows what I'm talking about, give me a thumbs up.
Okay, so they got to see the expressions on my face, because when you said some call it what?
Mountaineer muck.
I don't know. I'll go with Grandma's potato soup.
Whenever you take the cornstarch and you start to mix it with the water, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we'll do a whole lesson on that later. I have a science teacher lined out who's willing to teach all this stuff. We're going to work with her for a lot of this stuff. But so this is the basic Grandma Luck's potato soup, and it seems very bland, right? Whenever you start to make it, these are the bones of that recipe. So if you want to add bacon, if you want to add cheese, if you want to add garlic and onions and even some carrots or whatever you want to do, that's fine. But my grandmother was a very simple woman, and she didn't have a whole bunch of stuff at her fingertips to make. And she would make this soup, and then whatever she had on hand, she would throw it in there, and it always tasted so good. But these are the bare bones, and then you just add whatever your preferences are to make it good. Some people add ham too. It's really good that way.
And Marsha, I'll ask you real quick, honey. So this is great on a really cold day and everything like that. How long start to finish for our listeners?
Actually, really quick. As fast as the potatoes will boil and get done. I mean, this takes like a half an hour to fix.
Great on a rainy day too, as we move into spring, those cooler times. So Julie, I want to hear what you think of this sometime.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely wonderful. If you would have called it the other name, something muck, I would have expected something brown with a mystery style meat in the soup. So I believe every show you guys are going to enlighten me on some West Virginia terminology. I love it.
Yeah. So now we'll talk a little bit about, like I said, yesterday was Groundhog Day, right? Well, today is Groundhog Day here at LRC B&B. First of all, I'm going to ask you, Nicole, have you ever tasted groundhog?
I have.
How about you, Julie?
Absolutely not.
Not yet. Okay. So here's, not yet. You need to come up here because you're gonna like this. But this is how we see things on the farm. Okay. So anything that we do, anything that we kill, we try to use. We don't want to waste anything. So we kill these groundhogs out of the field. First of all, because they dig holes and the cows, the horses, the sheep, even a human walking along can fall and break their leg in one of these holes. So it's a very, necessary thing to get them out of the field. So whenever you kill them, we don't want to waste them, right? I mean, they're very good meat. They're vegetarians. It's all dark meat. It's really good. I'll show you here what it looks like. I'm going to step over here and grab it.
Well, you just never know what's going to happen on this show. We got live groundhog, people.
It's all dark meat, but it's really good. It kind of looks like roast beef. And so after what I do is I just put it in the Instapot, cook it off the bone. And then, I make this gravy. Can you see the gravy here? Out of the broth. And then I have mashed potatoes, right? So I just make mashed potatoes like you normally would, make gravy like you would. And then what I do is I take some homemade bread. I put a little bit of that Groundhog on there and I put the gravy across the top, just like this. And you tell me that doesn't look good, Julie.
It looks fantastic, but you can't tell me it's a groundhog when I come there, okay? You just tell me, just don't even tell me what it is, all right?
Everybody, it's not normal, in my opinion, for everybody to even have the opportunity to understand why anybody would protect their field for their animals. So think prevention, right? Not just for the human. It's just like a pain in the butt in the city kind of animal. This is prevention for the farm. So it's safety first. And then, we're going to incorporate that. We're going to use that in the routine. And I think it's such a great angle for people who maybe thought, ooh, I don't know, to have the opportunity to just even try a bite of it. So I want to ask for like a flip the script for a second. And people that come to the LRC B&B are going to have so many opportunities most people never would have. This just being one of them. I know we're going to get into more, Marsha. I know we are. You think about going to a different country and their delicacies and some different things like that. And so I'll just throw it out there that, maybe have an open mind and just try one bite. I think you'll be surprised.
Well, and it's part of being good stewards of the land. If you're going to kill something, find a use for it. Don't let it go to waste. Find something to do. And, nothing goes to waste here on the farm. Even the scraps and stuff from the table we feed to the chickens, there isn't anything that's wasted here. We put everything that we do right back into the farm. So, and that's what we try to do with everything that we do, whether it be plant or animal.
Well, dinner is definitely on the table this evening. I am assuming you all, whose plate was that you just made?
This would be Mr. Waybright. I'm getting ready to hand it over to him. He's over here salivating.
Well, tell him congratulations. In all seriousness, if I was there, I would try it. I would definitely try it. I'm not anti anything of that nature. I just haven't had it.
Well, and this isn't the time of year that we kill them. These actually came out of the freezer just in honor of Groundhog Day. I think Kendall's brother or Kendall one killed these, back in the summer whenever they were causing a problem. But this time of year is not when you're going to see them. It's in the summertime whenever they're out in the fields.
I don't know. I didn't pay any attention. Did the groundhog see the shadow or not see the shadow? Because that was actually yesterday, right?
Yeah. So actually, Puxatawny Phil, he did see his shadow and went back in. So we're going to have 6. But French Creek Freddy, we're going to go by his prediction. We're going to have an early spring. So we're going to go with French Creek Freddy this year.
There is a lot happening on this farm. Y'all look like you're getting ready to eat dinner. You've given everybody updates for next month. I know in the month of March that you guys, Nicole, you guys are going to be getting together there at the bed and breakfast. So, Marsha, what else is on the plate? And do you have anything you want to tell anybody? I mean, I don't know how you're going to top Groundhog next month.
Oh, you just wait. Spring's coming. There's going to be all kinds of fun things on this plate.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm here for it.
It's going to be fun. So yeah, just stay in touch with our website and everything that we have going on there. We try to post everything, keep everything updated. If you have any questions, feel free to call and ask for anything. And I'm going to have to save a little bit of this groundhog back for my sister. She really likes it.
I think I'm just going to have to put myself in the corner now from now on, making faces as you make stuff. Another amazing show, Marsha. I know the preparation that you're doing to get ready to share everything in your kitchen and just to be able to actually see the kitchen where would you say that is the soul of the farm is right there in the kitchen?
I would say, because even whenever guests are here, this is where everybody congregates, especially, we have the fire going in the winter and, everybody just kind of gathers. This is just the place that makes everybody feel like home because, it brings back memories. A lot of people, whenever they were young, sat around, their grandma's kitchen, and this is the hub of everything. And so we enjoy it,
I predict in the future that people that see these lives or they go back and watch the video on your YouTube channel, that people are going to start coming into your kitchen and saying, man, it looks exactly like it does on the YouTube.
Yes, indeed. This is it. We don't doll it up for anything. That we're genuine and real here. This is what we do.
And it always smells good.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I'm sure there's some dessert somewhere around there. So as we close out, I just want to remind everybody that you can also listen to these episodes if you can't make the live and you're riding in your car and you want to know what's going on at Marsha's farm and what's going on with all the animals and the new food coming up. You can listen to the episodes over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, all the things where you can listen to audio versions of the show. And I'm going to turn it over to you, ladies. Nicole, if you want to end with anything, and then Marsha, why don't you take us out?
I'll just say, like, it's an opportunity for everybody to come get that forest feeling, right? I mean, we got Valentine's Day around the corner. Going to be a wonderful opportunity to pop in and see Marsha. But if you can't make it this month, put it on your schedule. She's going to have so many great events coming up. We're going to partner on some things. You're guaranteed to have some laughs and some good food for sure. But I also think there's also like a really great nugget for anybody of any age that comes to look and learn from her family. So I just feel like it's a privilege to be a part of this episode or part of this podcast overall.
Yeah. And, I enjoy having you ladies here with me so much. And, we just invite everybody. It's like a living geography lesson here. We've had over 64 countries in all but 2 of the United States. And so I'm just going to put it out there. Anybody from North or South Dakota, we need those pins in our map. So we need somebody from North and South Dakota. So anyway, if you're in our area or in our neck of the woods, stop in and say hi. Plan your trip. We'll take care of you.